Hello, and welcome back. So today we're gonna do solders. We're gonna start with the cables as we usually do because I like the cables. They're nice and easy on the joints. It doesn't require a lot of effort. It doesn't require a lot of stability or balance or any of that. It's pretty simple to do and very effective. So we're going to start with the cables. So typical sort of setup. A lot of people usually start from down there, as in this. Where the cable is actually coming from is all the way down to the ground, literally like to the last sort of scale point. I don't know, whatever. So what you should be doing instead is to have it approximately where your arms are at. The reason that you do that is because then you create a 90-degree angle between the cable and your arm, which will allow for maximum tension at all times on the targeted muscle. The other thing, I like to grab on from there and then kind of like tilt away from the cable. That again creates more of a stretch. And the last thing, I make sure that my pinky comes up first. If thumb comes up first, it's more front delt. If it's pinky, it's more side lats. So yeah, literally, instead of just having this straight, I kind of like to tilt it that way. So I make sure that my pinky is coming up first at all times. So we're gonna start the first set here. I think I'm gonna do 4 sets here, and then I'm gonna do some rear delts, and then I'm gonna do some more side lats. I'll explain why in a sec, but let's start the set. Ooh, okay. As far as first sets go, that was good. So the other thing that I wanted to say is you should have light weight when you do shoulders. They're small muscles. The lighter the weight, the better. Now, obviously, there are levels to this. I'm not saying move weight that it's just too easy to move, but I am saying you should be doing higher reps for the smaller muscle groups. They seem to respond better when you do higher volumes, higher reps, versus doing, I don't know, like 6 reps, but a lot more weight. It's just the way that it is. I think the reason for that is because the muscles are small, your body compensates and it's using other muscles to assist with the lift. Because obviously your little side lad can't move the stack. Not that I don't think anybody can move the stack, to be honest, but point stands, it can't really move a lot of weight. So your body will compensate and assist that small muscle group and utilize other muscles in the area that are available, which again, it's not great because you want to isolate the side lat when you're doing side lats. You don't really want to, use other muscle groups to assist in the move. So yeah, lightweight, control the eccentric. That's kind of like the biggest thing. Control the eccentric. A lot of people are like putting all the effort at making sure that the weight is gonna go, the rep is gonna halfway happen, like go up, but then they don't pay any attention on the way down and they just drop it. Stupid. Don't do that. Don't do that. Control that. That's the most hypertrophic part of the range of motion, let's say. So with that being said, we are going to start the second set because it's shoulders, small muscle groups, they recover very quickly, not just from a day-to-day perspective, but also from when you're doing a workout, you don't need to rest a lot in between sets. You could just go within like, well, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes of rest. It should be good enough. So we're gonna start the second set and talk some more about shoulders and why I'm gonna do side lats, rear delts, some more side lats after, and not any presses or anything like that. So let's start. Oof. Ish. Whew. Yeah. Ah. Whew. Well, that was good enough. So the reason I'm gonna do two side lat exercises is two side lat exercises is because in my opinion, frankly, if you're gonna do any shoulder presses like overhead presses, for size, not the best exercise you could do. Honestly, I've been doing them for a very long time, and they're excellent for strength. They're excellent for a lot of things. They're very useful and they translate very well to real life. But when it comes to size, purely speaking from getting as jacked as possible, overhead presses are not the best exercise to be spending your energy and time on, in my opinion. I think side lats, like this part of the shoulder, is like the biggest thing that you should be training. And then the second part is really your rear delts, just to make your shoulder look more round from the back, but also from the front. And as far as front delts go, you use them all the time when you do any sort of chest movement, unless it's cables. But even then, I'll argue you actually use front delts. Not really. It depends. It sort of depends. I think if you start from down here and you do this, yeah, you kind of like use front delts. Mid-pec flies, not that much. But if you're benching, or if you're doing incline presses, or anything like that in the Smith machine, or with free weights, or if you're using any of the machines for chest and shoulders, it's inevitable. You're going to use front delts and you're going to use triceps. So, and front delt is a muscle. Front delt is a muscle that you really use through, just going through your life, like day-to-day living. So I wouldn't spend too much time unless, of course, you want to bring them up to par because they've fallen behind. But to me, side lats, most important. And then a close second is rear delts when it comes to shoulders only, because the front delt is really being taken care of when I do chest, in my opinion. And I just think overhead pressing for a delt, you know, there are better things that you could be spending your time on. And the other thing is, if you want to do front delts, then do a front delt exercise. Like, grab the cable and just do some front delts, or the dumbbells and just do some front delts. You don't necessarily have to do overhead presses. This is kind of like a thing. An overhead press is an excellent exercise for strength. But when it comes to size, again, speaking purely from a hypertrophy perspective and size, not great. So, and it's not that I'm not ever going to do them or I'm not doing them. If you've watched previous videos, I have been doing presses. It's just I'd rather focus on other things now. And then if I'm kind of like bored or I'm like, you know what, today I'm going to do some shoulder presses, then I'll do overhead presses because why not? But yeah, with that being said, we're going to start the third set actually. And we're going to do one more after. And then we're going to do some rear delts. So let's begin. Mm, 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 mm. 13. Oof. Oh. Okay. One more. Mm. Ah. Whoo. Ah. Mm, 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 mm. Oh. Okay, we're done here. That was nice and easy and quick. So we're gonna put that one up. Nope, just around this side. So I usually put it at a height where kind of like my shoulders are at. So I could like, yeah, there you go, do that. And to be honest with you guys, never mind. That should be good enough. So rear delts, if you have a machine, the one where you do pec flies and then you can just turn around and do some rear delts is just as good. If you want to do it with dumbbells, like bend over rear delts, just as good. But I prefer the cables, so I'm going to use the cables once again to do this exercise, 4 sets again, and I'm going to do some side lats still, and then we can call it a day. So we're all set. I'm actually moving very quick here because again, small muscles, they don't really take a lot. So we're gonna start the rear delts. I've literally, before I had 3 plates on, and now have 2 rear delts, even smaller than your side lats. So again, reduce the weight if you want to have an effective workout. Otherwise, kind of like your mid back here is gonna take over and do the movement for the rear delts, which again, not ideal. So let's start the first of the 4 sets and then talk through it if there is anything to talk through. Ooh. Pretty good for a first set. So one of the things I will say, I've seen people doing it, and I think that's kind of like the issue with the machine, the pec deck machine. So if you're doing pecs and you turn around to do some rear delts, you can only really stop here on the machine. And I've seen a lot of people do the same mistake when with the cables. They have the cables and then they do this. They stop here, and they do this. There's nothing inherently wrong with it, but there is a better and more effective way to do it, and that is to cross your arms. Because if you think about it, when you stay here, versus here, it's a massive difference for the rear delt. You stretch them more, right? So you should really be looking for that position where the targeted muscle group is going to be stretched, or the most stretched it can get. And that should be the position that you're looking for. That should be the position where you pause, because that position is going to cause the most hypertrophy out of the whole range of motion. So, with that being said, if you are going to use the cables, cross your arms. If you're going to use the machine, you can't really cross your arms, but what you can do actually is just do a single arm. So you can, instead of, let's say that this is the machine, this is kind of like what the bench is. Instead of doing this, you can sit sideways. So the bench is going to be here, and then you're going to grab this, and then you're going to do the rep. This is going to be super effective. It's going to take more time because it's going to be single arm rear delt, single arm rear delt for the right and the left arm, or other rear delt, but it's going to be more effective. Problem here is I don't actually have the Pectec machine in this gym. I know soccer, but it doesn't exist here. So that's a bit of a problem. But, you know, still, I mean, cables are just as effective. Not really, but they are very effective if you cross your arms. So yeah, try it and see what it does for you. With that being said, we're going to do the second set. Oh, good enough. Good enough for second set. So we're going to do two more, and then we're going to come up with a way to do some side lats actually. Ooh. Ooh. Uh, Whew. One more. Uh, Phew. Cool. That's it. So I'm gonna grab a straight bar. Yeah, I'm gonna grab a straight bar and I'm gonna do some upright rows. It's because I haven't done them for a while. They're a good exercise. So give me a sec. Right, because obviously we're switching muscle groups again. Not muscle groups necessarily, but we're going from the rear delts to side lats again. I'm just gonna go straight into side. You don't really need to wait in between sets. I've said that again. You definitely don't need to wait a long time in between exercises, especially if you're going to target different parts of the muscle or a different muscle entirely. So with that being said, we're going to start the first set. This is upright rows. I think I'm going to just go. Wait 1 sec. Let me figure out what I want to say. I think I'm just going to do 3 sets, not 4. That should be good enough. So let's start. You know what? I am gonna do some sets, but I'm gonna do my reps. There you go. So, however many reps I do on the first set, I will then have to match on the other two sets. And obviously the first set is gonna be the failure. So the next two sets, I'm gonna have to match that. And the way that you do that is you do the second set, you do the second set. And then if you can't do the same amount of reps that you did in the first set, you hold it there for a sec, take a couple of breathers, and then you do the remaining reps, essentially. This is what we're gonna try and do. So let me start here and go from there. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I lost count. Pretty sure that was 13, I could be wrong. So we're gonna call it 13, and we're gonna do two sets where I'm gonna have to match 13 reps. Right, so 13. Oh, it shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, 13 is not really that many reps, but let's not rush into conclusion, shall we? I was 11. Whew. And I was 13. It wasn't the easiest thing in the world, but yeah, here we are. So one more, and then we're gonna call it a day. We're gonna go home and have some food. Alright, last little set. We made it. So remember, 13 reps, 13, 1, 3, 13 reps. We're just gonna stop the set and see how it goes, and whenever I can't complete a full rep, this is what I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna take a breather and then do the remaining reps until I reach 13. That's the plan. Very good plan. Very good plan, if you ask me. Okay, there's one more left, but we're gonna do as many as it takes to reach failure after this short rest. Oh, oh. Okay. That was good. That was definitely good. The good thing about days such as these, so arm day, shoulder day, they don't really require a lot of energy, a lot of like energy spent, because small muscle groups, they recover quicker. You can just get done with it fairly quick. You can get a nice pump. you know, they don't add a ton of systemic fatigue. It's all good. It's all good, trust me. So we're done. We have a very nice little pump on the shoulders. They look very, very good. But we're gonna go get some food and then we're gonna go home and eat. Tomorrow is rest day, but day after is leg day. So I'm gonna see you then. Peace.